Alright guys, it's finally time for cooking with Verlisify. The kitchen is pretty much exactly where I want it, so let's go and bring this over here. And when I make food, I don't do something simple and silly like pancakes. I go all out, and this is what we're going to be using today for food and stuff. Also, quick kitchen update. My grandma is amazing, and she sent me some turntables and spices. So look how swag that is, and I even have the G Fuel turntable. I am living the dream right now when it comes to setup. So let's go and see what else we have. So we're going to be needing flour, egg, place to cut things, another place to cut things, milk. I have minced garlic, I have capers for a little bit of extra specialness at the end, and of course bacon, and where did I put the potatoes? I have some potatoes over here as well. So this is going to be an amazing, super crazy, loaded, baked, or as I call them, fraked potatoes. And we're going to see just why. So it's actually fairly simple, it just takes a little bit of setup, get everything in place, make sure everything looks all good, and now it's going to be simple preparation as we go and get this going. So the first thing you want to do is go and get your oven preheated to about 325, so get that going. Everything being done in a timely manner is pretty important here. Also, we are going to want to plug in our deep fryer, and I'm going to crank this bad boy to around 350. I like frying it hot at the highest setting, but might want to go just a little lower. So around 350 on the deep fryer right there. And now I'm going to find a place to put this camera, so hopefully we can get a good setup. I think right here is going to work pretty well, so we can get to our first parts. Now the first thing I'm doing is not your average bacon setup. Also, when it comes to knives, I just got this basic ceramic knife. I haven't saved up enough money for a really nice like shun or something like that. But this ceramic knife, it was one of those as seen on TV, and it actually cuts through potatoes and things that you need pretty well. So let's go and bring out some bacon. I don't know how much bacon I'm going to fry, but the idea is I want to deep fry some bacon instead of just pan frying it. So I'm going to take about let's get three nice little pieces of bacon right here, and then we want to cut them in about fourths. So I just have a little basic thing. Also, my countertop is clean, so I'm not really worried. I'll just have to clean this off right here, but maybe fifths. So you want to just get them into somewhat small, but not too small kind of pieces like that. I'd say, what is that, about 1.5 inches on something like that. And then as you get down to the bacon, if it gets thinner, you make the pieces a bit longer. So actually it looks like we're cutting this into almost sixths right now. And we'll get this going just like that. And the plan now is that when we saw this bowl earlier with just a random egg inside of it, well, we're going to be making an egg wash because we're going to be doing a basic flour. So there we go. I don't think I got any eggshells in there. So that works for me, and I don't have my trash bag near me. So we're going to be good with that right here. And as always, I like to have some kind of rag to just kind of wipe off my hands as I go along. See, like, I'm starting to get a bit technical right now when it comes to this. So milk. So when it comes to basic egg wash, you want to use a little bit of milk, a little bit of egg. People's preferences do vary, but I do have this tiny little whisk that I like using for that. So generally what I like doing is I do a splash of milk, just kind of enough to almost break the yolk and cover everything. And that's going to give us a pretty basic milk and egg wash as we go. You just kind of whisk that all together. Next up, we are going to want some flour to go and coat this bacon with. So as we go whisk that up, we can get the bacon started soaking in this. Make sure you kind of peel the pieces apart so they don't really stick together too much. And it depends on how much bacon you're using. I think this should still be just enough, and I accidentally just dropped some bacon on the ground. After that, we're going to go and bust into our flour. Now let's try to not get flour everywhere. And generally, you don't need like a recipe amount for the flour. Almost anything will do right there, so I'm just going to get this bowl set up, and we're just going to use it as we need to. So I'm going to say maybe half a cup of flour, something like that. We don't have a lot of bacon, and it's not going to use a lot of flour because we're not going to go heavy on that. I don't think I'm going to need these anymore, so I'm going to go toss those in the sink right now. And now we just do a basic way of breading this, so put the lid back on the flour so I don't have to worry about like egg getting in it or anything stupid like that. And now it's just going to be, put it in there, dredge it a bit, and you're going to do that and make it look like this. And it should look something like this. So this is going to give us a very fantastic looking of almost ready food. Put that off to the side, and we will have to clean this up later. But as you can see, it doesn't use up a lot of flour at all. You could probably go with even like a 1/4 cup of flour or something like that, because there's still a lot of it left right now, and my fingers look like they're about ready to be cooked themselves. So we're going to move on to the potatoes now. Now the potatoes are going to be very, very simple. Just kind of get them around, make sure they're not too much in your way while you cut. And all we're going to do is just take one, cut it in half. That's all we need to do to all these potatoes right now. So take it, try to find the longest end, that way they're somewhat even. So we're going to take it, cut in half. Now, I prefer using red potatoes just because I like their flavor a bit more, but you can use the standard brown ones. If you have the larger brown potatoes, you are going to need less. But as you can see, like, these ceramic knives, they work well. They do enough of a job cutting, and, well, they don't cut the other ones. You just go through, cut. And I guess now is kind of like the perfect time to say, you know, I don't have any kind of culinary degree. I took a couple classes in high school and just taught myself how to cook. So my knife skills aren't going to be the cleanest. My food safety might not be the most pristine, so if you're going to be that's something to keep in mind right there. So if you see something I'm doing wrong, I'm just doing it for myself, and there we go. It's as easy as that to just cut through, what was that, 7 potatoes, just cut them in half. Don't need to be too skilled for that. Now next up, what we're going to want to do is go into our drawer and just grab a spoon. Now depending on the size of the potato, you will want a different size spoon, so I'm going to get one of the smaller spoons right now, and this is where we just kind of hollow them out from potato skins. So now remember, you are going to be deep frying these, so you will want them to be relatively uniform when you make all of them, and I'm just going to use the same plate from earlier, pop it on the plate. We'll have 14 nice little shells. Alright, now that we have this, we're going to want a mixing bowl and some minced garlic. So the minced garlic from earlier will make an appearance. Maybe about this much garlic, just a very small amount. And if it doesn't taste enough garlic, you can always just kind of sprinkle a little more in. But I mean, it's just a little fun part to kind of get you through. Now I want to do that first because since I wasn't scooping, I want to have clean hands for the minced garlic. But now that we're on to the potatoes, just kind of like measure out your potatoes, see what you have. See, as you can see, I got a couple of nice chunks that I ended up scooping out. I got some almost whole halves right there. Then like a lot of just like mushy parts. So you want to kind of make this into, you just kind of want to chop this up. We're not really going for any kind of like super insane dice or super insane chop. We're just going to try to get roughly the same pieces. Like some of these will always be smaller than the others, but we're going to end up spreading this out on a plate. So just kind of go over a couple times. Alright, so I've chopped into what I think is about right. You know, there's still a couple of larger pieces. You kind of see that on the outsides because the outsides will tend to be ignored depending on how lazy you are. So just kind of keep everything all nice and together. And something like that. So that's going to look pretty good. It'll almost look like you chopped a lot of onions, honestly, and pull that up to the camera. Like, it's not that bad, not that uneven. And now we go into the fun stuff. So might have noticed this pan here earlier. That's where we are going to be putting this. That's why I call them fraked potatoes. They're fried and baked. We're deep frying the outside and we're baking the inside. And now what we can do is start putting this into our garlic. So we take the garlic, or we take the potatoes and put it into the garlic, or if we do it the other way around, you know, you can cut up the potatoes first and put the garlic on top, and you just kind of want to mix it together. I prefer using my hands. You can use like a rubber or silicone spatula and just kind of bring it together, but use your hands. You can kind of really feel like what you're doing right here. So boom, just going to make sure we get all of that garlic in there. Just going to mix it up like this. The garlic should be pretty visible. Like there should be enough garlic to where it just stands out against the potato. You can also give it a smell. If it doesn't smell enough like garlic, then that means you're probably safe to add a little bit more, but I think this is actually going to be pretty nice. And we also want to make sure the juices from the minced garlic, like the reason why I'm using minced garlic is I like the juices. I like that it brings a little bit more of a pungent garlic flavor into it, and that'll help stand out as we go and bake off these potatoes, stuff like that. So give it a nice good sniff. Oh yeah, it should just smell like when you first walk into an Italian restaurant, get a little bit of everything, but there's that undertone of garlic in there. I think that this is going to be exactly what we're looking for. Now the next thing I'm going to add is a little bit of olive oil. About a tablespoon of olive oil. I like this olive oil. It's going to help it to where now the potatoes, they will bake a little more evenly, just having some oil on there. And that's going to bring it all together a bit more, since the garlic was pretty much the most important thing that I wanted. And now we're going to start bringing in a little bit more of interesting stuff. So we're going into the pepper. That's why I like having my turntable over here. Boom. Crack a little light bit of pepper right there. We don't need too much because we're already getting a lot of strong flavors. Also some salt. Everything goes a little better with salt. I have a sea salt grinder right here, so I already did 3. I think 3 is going to be just fine for that. We don't want to load down with flavor. And we still want that nice fried potato, and also we want to still taste the bacon pretty well and stuff like that. And we're also going to get a bit crazy. So I have buttermilk blends. I have buttermilk powder right here. And what this is going to do is if we just add a very, very light amount of buttermilk powder, I'm talking a teaspoon of buttermilk powder, if I can go find this right here. So yeah, right here we have 1 teaspoon on the measuring. We also have just a pinch and a half teaspoon. Actually, looking at that amount, I feel like we should do a teaspoon and just a pinch. So like, not even a full teaspoon, just 2/3 of a teaspoon. So now we have it, this is going to make the flavors come together really nice, and I wanted to just kind of get the garlic in there, make sure it got nice and distributed, but now we're going to go and make sure everything else gets mixed in. You don't want to hit a big hit of salt, you don't want to hit a big hit of really anything, pepper, garlic. The olive oil is just going to kind of coat everything, and now that is going to be an absolutely fantastic filling for these potatoes. And then we're going to go and bring out the pan. Now, parchment paper is what you're going to want. Parchment paper, non-stick. Make sure you get parchment paper and not wax paper. As you can see, there's even potatoes on the packaging that I bought. So what we're going to do is just going to lay this on and then put a nice thin coat of this and get ready to bake it off. All right, now it's big boy time. The second you put these in the oven, just to make sure everything has its own uniformity and whatnot, you get this in the oven just like that. Hopefully you're not recording so there's no risk of burning yourself. Boom, that's going to be good to go. And now the deep fryer has been ready for quite some time. So we will want to go pull over our bacon. And something like this, depending on how large your fryer is or what your frying space is, you should be able to deep fry it all at once. And in goes, oh, a very wonderful amount of breaded bacon. Hopefully this doesn't go in, nah, this doesn't look like it's going to splash up too much. So make sure you get it all nice there. What I like to do so it doesn't stick is, you know, you just want to hold it in there for just a millisecond. That way it starts to fry right before you release it. And as you can see, we are frying up a good amount of bacon. Now the reason why I want to do this first is because as it's baking in the oven, what we have going on, hopefully that's not too loud either. So as this is frying, we can get this going off in the oven. Then what we want to do is we want to warm up and finish this bacon when we're finishing our potato mixture. But yeah, like there isn't really any kind of specific cooking time. You just want to make sure that starts getting golden brown. Then you want to flip it, cut down the heat, put in the bacon. Bacon's going to take about 5 minutes to fry. I really don't remember because it's been years since I made this. I really don't remember how long that takes to bake. But then boom, we throw in the potatoes and then we're good to go. You also might notice some butter right here. Well, that's when we start on our next little project right here. So I'm going to make a bit of a sauce, and that's going to start by hitting this right here, getting it on just a low heat, and just going to melt this butter. So as that melts, we can kick it up just a little higher, like medium-low heat right there. And we're going to make a white sauce, which is going to be butter, flour, and milk. For every tablespoon of butter, you want to use a tablespoon of flour. I'm just going to go 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, half a cup of warmed milk, that way it doesn't curdle, and then we're going to turn that into a cheese sauce for the bacon-loaded fried potatoes. That's where it starts getting pretty extreme, guys. Like I said, I will go all out when it comes to cooking right here. Prepare 1 paper plate with paper towels, or just a regular plate with paper towels, and when your bacon looks something like pork rinds, you want to go and give it a nice pat down. So shake it off. I've already been letting it sit there for just a moment, and we will go and transfer it over here and then pat it down just a little. So yeah, I was able to keep that in shot. Not bad. And maybe get another one just to kind of like put on top. Just make sure, get all the oils off of it before we put it into the oven. Also, what I ended up doing was it wasn't going anywhere too fast, so I kicked up the heat to around 450. We're really going to go and get those potatoes screaming. Just an experiment. Hopefully it will be cooking off pretty quick, but as you can see, it's been roughly 5 to 10 minutes, and those potatoes have not done anything yet, so we are going to need more heat. This is pretty much done, which means tablespoon of butter is going to go, or a tablespoon of flour is going to go into that until it makes like a paste. Throw it in the milk. When you want to, I don't want to show it because it's a very delicate process, but when you add the milk, make sure the milk is just warmed up a bit in the microwave. Also take the pan off the heat, and then just kind of add it in like that, and the milk won't curdle. And then we'll go and add in our cheese. So what I was thinking is we are going to top our potato skins with some sharp cheddar, and we are going to use some Asiago in our cream sauce. It's going to give us a nice rich cream sauce, and then that's what these capers are for. So to cut through like all the creaminess, all the potatoey flavors and whatnot, I was thinking the acidity from the capers can finish it off nicely. So I'm not sure if I'm going to chop those yet or just kind of throw them in whole, and then you're going to get a nice little pop with a little bit of crunch, with a little bit of softness from the baked potato, and I think it's going to look pretty nice. Now you can also just kind of fold in some sour cream, but we should be pretty good to go here. Now, when the potatoes start turning a little more brown, honestly, Now I'm thinking about it, you could probably work on this first. So make this first, then bread the bacon, and then put it in. That way everything's going to be done nice and easy. Don't have to worry about the bacon cooling off because remember, we are going to finish the bacon in the oven. But as you can see, there's still not really too much browning in there. Also, there's a thing called an oven light, which mine doesn't work apparently. First time I've tried using it. And eventually this will get somewhere. So when that starts to brown, you want to start putting in your potato skins. The potato skins will take a bit longer to fry, so let's go plug this bad boy back in. Try to warm it back up. And you can't, as you can see, potato skins are kind of large. You can't do a huge amount at a time. So you're going to kind of want to drop the potato skins in and make sure they absorb as much oil as possible so they can kind of cook inside and out. And you are going to want to get some kind of heat resistant spoon or something like that, a turner or flipper. Just kind of keep poking them down to make sure they do fry up. Now I wonder what the temperature this is at right now. So the light goes off. It's gotten cooled off from the frying the bacon, but it's at like 340 right now. So we can start frying these up and just want to do something like that. And try to fill them up, that way they will sink a bit. And if they do pop up, just kind of poke them down. So that's how we're going to make our potato skins. But you need to be a little more delicate and a lot more patient with these. Kind of make sure they fill up. Don't burn yourself. That'd be a very, very bad thing. I am not responsible if you have poor cooking skills and listen to my even more poor advice. But as you can see, we're going to be making some nice, good potato skins right here. As that is baking off, as we are going to be preparing our cream sauce, our butter is completely melted at this point. And yeah, so it looks like it was hot enough. I would like to get it a little hotter, but I'm focusing on producing this video as well. So it looks like we can do about half in one go, and that works out just fine. So yep, there we go. And we'll fit this bad boy right in here. So potato skins are good. I'm actually going to throw on the lid. Try to keep in the heat as much as possible, and that's going to be pretty nice right there. So we're adding the flour, we're making a cheese sauce, so when the milk is done, just kind of fold in that cheese and let it melt just a little. And that still isn't doing much of anything. So trying to balance everything, this will turn into a fantastic meal, I promise. Alright boys, we're pretty much donezo at this point. So the hash looks about right, a little more underdone than I want it to be, but I think the bottom is actually like really crispy and stuff. So you gotta give it a couple flips, give it a couple stirs, and have that nice texture to it. Also, you want it to be a bit soft because you're dealing with a lot of crunchiness. Finished off the bacon, that looks solid as well. And then this is, I've only done half so far. Like I'm going to just finish off the video here with these bits. So one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to poke the potatoes once I was done with it, so that way it won't poof up. So poke them with a fork and then they won't poof up on you, and then I just kind of flatten them out. So now we have these like little mini potato bowls, and then what we want to do is take a fresh, this one only had flour on, so take the spoon, take some scoops of this, and then we'll just kind of go and put it into the potato as we need to, just like this, and try to get some of the crispy bits. If you like crispy, try to get more of the I wouldn't even say raw, but the less cooked bits. And there we go. So that's going to load up that potato just like that. And then with the bacon parts, what this is going to do is like we can just kind of go and crumble it up a bit. Like it is nice and fried, so you know we just get to break it up. You can use a knife. I'm kind of beyond the point of knives right now, so that's going to look pretty nice right there. And then after I wipe off my hands, we get to top it off with a touch of the sauce. So... well, I don't like using, because I did use a Teflon one. I did use a Teflon pan, so using a spoon like this is a bad idea, so you don't want to scrape it. We take a little bit of sauce, just drizzle it over, just like that. Sauce is a bit more loose than I like it. I kind of rushed for making this video, but overall I am very pleased with it. And then you can do whatever you want. If you like chives on your potatoes, you can go and top it with chives. I actually think I probably have some over there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Any kind of little coating. Remember, all the pepper, all the salt is already in there, and it's mostly just one huge delicious bite for the potatoes. And I even have cheddar, so if you want to go and top it with cheddar, you can. I probably will do that right now. And just in case that wasn't good enough for you, I took the cheddar, you know, just open up the cheddar, threw out the grater, and just kind of grate everything. So I was thinking, okay, we'll put the cheddar on the bottom. I think that'll still give us some amazing flavors. And there it is, boys. So yeah, let's go and finish up the rest of these. And here it is, boys. So I decided to garnish it with bacon just for the thumbnail. And that is an absolutely beautiful one. I put capers on a couple of them. Didn't really mix it into the whole mixture and whatnot. I'm just holding it as still as possible so you guys can enjoy. Now let's get that money shot in there, so we gotta go and eat this one. How do I get you set up? Hey guys, you haven't seen me for a while. I think that actually looks pretty nice. I think a little off-center, but whatever. There we go. And let's grab this bad boy right here. Absolutely delicious. Well, maybe we should not have. Okay, no matter where I go, there's going to be a light in the way. Is what this one's looking like. So let's see if we can go and take this. Sure, I'll kneel down just a bit, and if I use my head to block that light, maybe we'll have something good for the thumbnail as well. Let's see how this tastes. Oh my god. Yeah. That is where it's at. Oh my goodness. Alright. I'll just have an extra little piece of fried bacon to top it off with as well. A lot of really good flavors in there. Because the buttermilk adds a little bit of sweetness. The Asiago sauce adds a little bit of sweetness. Then you also have, I'm going to try one with the capers actually, because I want that acidity in there. We also have the garlic. Could have actually gone with a little more garlic. A little more salt, a little more pepper, because like the potato is a lot of starch to get over. If you can taste that bacon, you get a little bit of everything in there. It's absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of Cooking with Verlisify. I don't know if there's going to be any more. I decided to do one of my more fancy recipes because I was making dinner tonight and I wanted to really treat myself for really no real reason, but this is one of my favorites that I've ended up making, inventing, and kind of perfecting over the years. It was one of those times where if I was making this and all the friends came over, they knew what was up. It's like, yo guys, I'm making the baked potatoes. Everything would stop right then. People would pitch in for helping me make it and stuff, and that's really where it's at. So I actually have a couple more of the potatoes to fry, and I have a little bit like extras left. So definitely go be finishing the rest of these, and hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. It'll encourage me to make more Cooking with Verlisify. Maybe we'll make it a lot simpler. There's a lot more simpler things that you can do, but this has a bit of intensity going on. It takes a good hour to kind of get everything together, which is kind of a lot if you're on your own, but if you have friends, you can really kick back the time. Guys, enjoy the video. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.